Today, I want to talk about who you are with that goal achieved. And over the next 3 months in reclamation, we're actually going to go really deep into this. However, the first step is you deciding. And this is just for you to set the foundation as we jump in. And some of this may be repeated on purpose through reclamation. Who you are right now is not the who you are that will achieve the goal. So it's super important that we see the difference. Like, we make it so black and white. And I'm noticing as I've been diving deep into self-image and asking questions in my mastermind around identity work and self-image work, that there's some mistakes that people are making in our visualizations. And I want to set the record straight today. Who you are right now is not the her that achieves the goal. Okay, so we want to see this so clear. And I know I've said it a million times, and I know it seems obvious. Sit back and let this land. The purpose of the goal is growth. If your goal does not require change, it's not a big enough goal. If your goal, if you can achieve it by doing the same thing that you're currently doing, by showing up the same way in energy, in the way you view yourself, the same actions, it's not a big enough goal. It's probably a B goal. Holy moly. Like, I want you to think about this for a moment, because what this probably means is that, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to scrap a lot of what I'm currently doing. Oh my gosh. Like, new systems, new ways, new ways that I'm talking about my product, my service, my team, right, Irene? Like, I'm actually going to have to scrap a lot of what I'm doing. Like, I'm really going to have to build a new model here for myself. Who you are right now and who you are with the goal achieved are totally separate. Different person, up level, you change. Just like who you were 5 years ago. Think, what's 5 years ago? 2018 with it. Is that right? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Feels like forever ago. Okay. Think of who you were in 2018. Like, do something, think of something. Like, does anyone else have to think of how old their kids were or something? Like, I have to ground myself in some kind of like reality to go back to 2018. I'm like, what happened in 2018? Maybe it's just me. I often look at pictures. So you could do that. Pick up your phone and look at a picture. 2018. 2018. That version of Danielle is definitely not the version of Danielle now. And in fact, when I watch the videos, like when you guys tag me in the, like, me reading Think and Grow Rich, I'm like, cringe, as my daughter would say. Because there's been so much growth. So just like you, the version of you 5 years ago is not the version of you now. 1 month ago, you were different. 1 day ago, you were different. Now, Maureen, you're going to probably feel this. Like 2 days ago, before you said yes to TIR, you were a different you after the decision. So then you listen to the videos, right? And you had an aha in the video from your studies this morning. And that aha, you've integrated into your awareness, which has changed you. So literally, you right now in your awareness is different than what you were yesterday or last week on this webinar. You want to recognize the change. And if you aren't seeing it, red flag, red flag, red flag. If you're not noticing the change, then it would probably mean that you're taking the information in your conscious mind and you're not integrating it into the subconscious. You're keeping it as facts, like a nice to know. Does that make sense? Knowledge won't get you very far. Knowledge won't get you very far. I know that we were programmed to go to school and do all that, but the knowledge actually doesn't make a difference. It's not until we apply the knowledge, which kind of questions why we, anyway, in school have to, use our memory to remember facts. Doesn't teach us anything. It teaches us what we know, but not what we've applied. Does that make sense? I can rant on that for a little while. Eloise actually asked, she's like, why do I have to memorize this? I'm like, good question. Anyway, so it's not what you know, it's what you've applied. So you want to recognize the difference in you. Like, I responded differently to my husband. I didn't bite his head off when he said this, because 2 weeks ago I would have. You got it? Like those kind of things. I responded differently to my daughter. I responded differently to this prospect. I showed up differently this way because of what I read this morning, quite literally. And so this takes an awareness to be applying it. The most important thing here is for you to recognize the change, that it's actually changing, like you are becoming. That's why the program is becoming, not became, because we're in a constant process of becoming. Now, why I'm like hammering this in so much is because the mistake that I've noticed is that in the visualization, when you visualized the you with your goal achieved, the future memory that can only happen once your goal has been achieved, often if we dig deep on how you see yourself, most people are putting their current self in that vision. Because their current perception of them, like whether it's physical, we're so locked into how we are right now. Does that make sense? It's like a common thing. Like when you see yourself on stage accepting the award, you're taking what you see in the mirror right now and you're like, plop. We're not always taking into account the growth. So you may have noticed in some of the visualizations that I take you through, I actually have you acknowledge like what you look like. Like I say, like, look in the mirror, your body is exactly how you want it to be. Because really, like, why are we visualizing something we don't want? Like, that's crazy talk. And often what I notice is that like when I'm in, especially with the one-on-one clients, when we're talking about this, they're like, oh my gosh, yeah. Like I notice how it is, how I am now. And like, I've got this goal to release, I don't know, 10 pounds, whatever. And isn't that funny? How it's like,